It's time for a new adventure.
Welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Business. This is your co-host Amy Zander with CD Media, and I am here with the lovely Lisa. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm doing fantastic, Amy. What have you been doing? What adventures have you been on in our community?
Yeah, so 2 days ago was my youngest's birthday, so we spent the whole day at High Caliber Karting, which we just recently had Zach on our show about. He's one of the co-owners of High Caliber, and that was really fun. So we spent the whole day there doing lots of fun stuff. So that was cool. Yeah, what have you been up to around town?
I have been getting ready to do a painting. It's not painting with a twist anymore, but my daughters and I are scheduled to go to Frandorf for a paint and sip that is going to celebrate a bunch of our birthdays. So just being able to support some of the local businesses has just been really, really amazing. And I've been at a few of our manufacturing companies doing some leadership development, and it's been great meeting all kinds of people. So yeah, good
Wow,
stuff.
that reminds me. I'm next week, which will be past by the time this episode comes out, but I'm going to the Lansing Shuffle to do a Paint Your Poison thing with. We had Amanda J on our show, and she's doing, or it's a we're painting a margarita glass, and then we have a mixology class from the bartender at Shuffle for how to create the perfect margarita. So that should be fun. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's lots of good things going on in the community. So cool deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So speaking of our community, tell us who we've got on our show today.
The lovely Sonia Fineout, owner of Interiors by Sonia, and she is a residential interior designer, artist, and project manager. She creates functional and beautiful spaces that fit the lifestyle of her clients. And I am excited to have her share with us all about her business. I've had the opportunity to be in her office and her home and just look at some of her creative, beautiful work. So welcome, Sonia. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Doing well. So we just kind of did a quick bio, but tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'm a residential interior designer. I have been working in the industry for over 30 years now. Started off at the Lansing Community College, getting my interior design degree. Then I worked for a residential remodeling company in Okemos, and that's where I learned to actually do general contracting work. And at that, I did that for many years, doing design work and general contracting work for the residential builder. And then I went out on my own and did faux finish artistry. So I was on the ladder doing all kinds of artwork in people's homes and design work too, because once you get in the house, they want all your ideas. So that was really fun. And then just about 5 years ago, I decided to just do interior design. The ladder was really killing my feet and my back. So yeah, I just started doing just design work.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
What has been one of your favorite design projects that you've created?
Oh, well, they're all really fun and creative, but I think recently I've had an experience that it was just an amazing project. I redesigned an entire house. Homeowners bought the home, but they were in an apartment, and so they didn't move in. So I had the whole house to do the whole design, and then I did the project management on it. So um, for in about 4 months, we transformed this house. But that happens, quite a bit. The transformations happen, but what was really extra fun was that the clients were really fun. They were really present. We laughed every day making our selections and making decisions, and they allowed me to do some really creative designs in their living room using new products that isn't really prevalent in our community. So that was really fun, just using different products and having a client that was fun and present. And so that really stood out to me.
So, aside from the ladders being very challenging on your feet and back, when did you really decide that design was your sweet spot? That this was what you wanted to do?
Oh, I knew I wanted to be a designer from a very young age. So I was, 14, 15 years old, redecorating my bedroom and coming up with really inexpensive, because I had no budget, really inexpensive ideas. My first, I remember my first bedroom idea was to change the walls, which were just paneling, was to get bed sheets and staple them to the wall to change the wall. So I did that. So my mom and my father were you know, remodeling their house like constantly. And I come from a background of builders and artists. And so this wasn't anything new. So when I started wanting to do redesign of my bedroom, everybody was on board. So it's just about the budget, which got me to be pretty creative.
Are
How
you are you constantly redesigning your own home?
Oh gosh, I wish.
No, yeah, no, you don't do that.
No, I can't afford that. And so, wait, that's I wake up every day doing my hobby, and that's for other people, designing their homes and um, making selections for them. But yeah, I just I don't want to live in the mess anymore either. I mean,
Right.
it's hard to
Yeah.
live through,
Yeah.
and I did that my whole childhood and a lot of my adulthood with my own homes. And but if I could change it every season, I would.
Yeah, it's got to be hard because you're always looking at what's trending and new things coming up and ideas
Yeah,
for your
yeah,
clients and things like that. And then your own home, that I would think that
yeah.
would be challenging.
It's getting easier as I get older,
Right.
you know. So
Yeah. So one of your specialties is renderings, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
Well, before I had this amazing computer software, I had to make selections for clients and then sort of just hope they understood what this was going to look like when it was all said and done, right? The individual selections, like the wood or the wall paint or whatever we were doing, they would like, but I just knew they didn't have an idea of what this would look like in the end. So um, actually, I discovered this really incredible software during COVID and did some research and development and found that the learning curve on it was amazingly fast. And then what was really struck me is how it looks like a photo when you're finished. So people look at it and not realize that that is just a rendering, it's a photo. So now I have this amazing tool that I can, put all the selections together that they love and then show them this is what it will really look like. It looks like a photo. So that's been really fun. That's what I'm really excited about. And I've also created an inexpensive way to render homes for sale. So right now I've really started approaching real estate agents to see about virtually staging their listings and really inexpensively and have really great terms. Like I will wait to get paid when the closing happens, that kind of a thing. There are three ways that I do that. I can just get paid immediately upon the electronic transformation or the electronic data getting to their side, but that should be edited out. Or the other thing I would do is if they lost the listing, I would want to get paid then, and then I do wait for the closing to happen. So it's just about budgeting for them. But so yeah, this software is really sort of taking my business to the second, the next level, and what I can do for not just homeowners who want to remodel, or new homeowners who want to know what all the selections and services will look like in their home that they're putting in their new home, but for realtors or anyone who wants to sell their home and wants give that potential buyer what what the potential is in the house.
So how does what can you walk us through how that process would work, not just for the real estate client, but let's just say
Mhm.
somebody wanted your services. So
Mhm.
so what does your process look like with the
Yeah.
opportunity for renderings and things like that?
Yep. Yeah, so I start out every project with a working consultation. It's up to 90 minutes, and at that time, they get to really pick my brain for all my ideas. There's even, I've selected paint colors for people. I've done furniture layouts, whatever we can get done in the 90 minutes. And then from there, let's say, there's a lot more to do. So I my process is, let's say they want their living room redesigned, which is really common, is that I draw it out in my 2D and 3D software and then make actual selections. A lot of times I'll take my client right to the local furniture store, and shop online for different items for the living room. But then what I'll do is I'll bring those actual selections into the drawing, and so then it creates the rendering. And then basically, as I'm working through the different selections, I'm really talking with my clients and giving them preliminaries and like, hey, am I on the right track here? Is this what you're loving, this colorway and the style and all of that? And yeah, and then at the end they get exactly what they're looking for. A lot of clients don't know what they're looking for, right? So
Right.
when I show them the rendering, the photorealistic rendering, and they fall in love. And then it's also the right budget because we've been working together, telling me where to shop, and I don't
Yeah.
dictate to my clients what they should have, where they should shop. They don't have to shop through me. I'm getting paid to give them a design, and then they can shop it out if all they want to. They can get a different sofa than maybe what I selected, but similar, because
Mhm.
there's so many different options on the sofa. And then, so say I complete the design, I send them all the information in a Google Doc with the renderings and where the web links where I found the item. And then the next phase would be project management. So if they need um, I have a whole team of people I've been or working with for years. So I've created relationships with these different subcontractors, and I bring them in, get the bids for the job, put that in an Excel document so they have an estimate of what the construction is going to cost. And then if we launch into construction, I bring them all in. I order all the materials. I do the quality control at the end, and then the construction's complete. And then the final service I provide is like just decorating. So there's a difference between interior design and decorating. And the decorating at the end is basically purchasing, all your art, and installing the art, objects, anywhere from wall art to objects of art in botanical items. And I bring it all in, I set it all up, and then I say to the client, "What do you think?" and at that time they are, fall in love or pick a little couple things like, oh, that doesn't suit my taste, and then I take return things back to the store, maybe buy a couple more things, finish it up. Um, yeah, and so it's kind of like from the very beginning stages all the way to hanging that last piece of art on the wall is what I do.
So you brought up a very good point, right? There's a difference between a designer, interior designer, and a decorator. So what
Mhm,
would be the credentialing differences, or what should we look
mhm.
at in the differences between designer and decorator?
Yeah, it's just really it's education. It's rare to find a decorator who has the skills to design an entire home, to know all the codes, to know the dimensions. Typically, when you're hiring a decorator, she's going to come in and really do surface types of things. Pick out your carpet, paint, um, objects of art, that type of a thing. But when you get a designer, we design whole houses, right? We draw them up. We have the CAD experience to know how to draw elevations and to do sections. So there's really just a big educational difference.
Yeah, so I've gotten to know a little bit more about your business. I've helped with you with a little bit of marketing, but you've also been into my home helping me with some stuff. And one of the things that I didn't realize until I started working with you is that you also help people, and I'm not sure if this falls between the designer or the decorator category, but you also help people with the functionality of their home. So a lot of people have rooms that they're not using very much or very well, or, they're just like, there's one part of their home that's just not working for them as far as their lifestyle goes, or they want to use a room better or things like that. And you have so many really good ideas about that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So I believe that everyone should use their entire house and that it should be set up to allow for that. And so I always start off with the function of the space and what's going to happen, what's going to happen in here and how many people are going to use it and what, like, do you have dogs and cats and, we start there because then everything sort of builds on that. And not recently, I guess it feels recent, but I became an empty nester and that my house just really felt really extra large. And I thought, I need to downsize. And then all of the, stops that would happen for downsizing, finding a different house and then I started thinking like, well, what happens when my kids come back, right? When they now have families, I'm going to need all those bedrooms. And I'm like, but in the meantime, what do I do? And then I really started thinking about it. And it's like, there is a reason to use every room in the house. It's just a matter of digging a little deeper, right? So I did. And then I, really bring that to my clients. And some people, like right now, the big thing is nobody uses their dining room at all right now. We don't do big formal sit downs every night. Like, when I was growing up, we sat down at the dining room table and had dinner. Well, that's sort of a thing of the past with a lot of families. And so we look at it, what could the space really function really well for them that maybe, in their existing home is having maybe a little trouble, or they've always wanted to do arts and crafts and never had the space, or, dad needs a retreat away from the big living room for his mental health, right? So we look at all of what's happening in the family dynamics and in just different hobbies they want to do, or like, okay, for instance, my house, I have basically 2 TV rooms. I have the living room, which I call my north wing. And then I have my other room, my own TV room, which I call my south wing. And what you learn to use your house when it's set up functionally properly, right? So when I want quiet, my front living room faces the road, and so it's fairly noisy with the traffic. And when I want quiet and I want to hear the birds in the morning, I'm using the back space. I have my coffee. It's really private. But when I have more of a so a lot of times we're in there in the back room in the morning times and watching a little TV, having our coffee. It's quiet, listen to the birds. And then in the evenings, when we've actually set it up with a little bit more comfortable furniture, some recliners, and I did my lighting a little different. I did my artwork a little different. So we're drawn into the space to then at night watch movies there or just have family time in my north wing.
North wing, south wing.
Right. I know. We have an old farmhouse and my office is in the parlor, which I've always seemed so I don't know, quaint or something when I
Yeah,
call it
yeah.
the parlor. Yeah. Yeah. But the other thing that I've always been impressed by your work, Sonia, is that you do work with all budgets. I mean, I think a lot of people think, oh, an interior designer, that's for people with huge houses and big
Yeah.
budgets and things like that. And you really do work with people with all kinds of budgets. I know when I first met you, you had been working on like a bachelor pad apartment. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember if the guy was like newly divorced or just a young guy,
Yeah.
but you know, that
Yeah.
might be a situation where they might not have the best tastes or whatever and didn't want it to look like a dorm room. And so you were, but it
Yeah.
didn't seem like it was a super big budget for the project,
No.
but it made a big difference.
No, not at all. In fact, I remember that. I think it was a basement apartment downtown Lansing, and you really looked out you were like 3 feet underground, and so the windows in there looked out and just to a wall of, basically a pit in the ground. And he's like, I just want to get over this whole, all the furniture in here is from the dorm room, and he says, my budget's $2,000. I'm like, whoa, okay. So yeah, so there are challenges with such a low budget, but it, when we can do it, so we also just really got creative with quite a bit of things. We used what he had and sort of appropriated it, and some of the challenges, like he did all of the work himself. So if we would we bought some shelving units on Wayfair, and so they were fairly inexpensive. He put them all together. So there was lots of budget saving ways we could, work around some things, and a lot of, like no shipping fees. And so we really just stayed in a market where he was comfortable with. And the other thing too is, even though the budget might be small, you have the whole design, so you can implement as your budget allows.
Right.
So that's what's nice, is that, someone might really want that sofa. It's out of the budget now, but plan for it so that they can work up to it. So yeah. And I've never come across a client that was like no budget. Like, I have no budget. I mean, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
So even if you make $1 million, your budget can't be, $1.2 million, right? So there's always constraints I work in, and it becomes just like habit, and I just let clients lead me as to where they feel comfortable with me shopping for them.
So you found this amazing software. You work within all different types of budgets. You've got renderings. There's so many amazing things that are happening. What are you most looking forward to for the rest of 2023 or into 2024?
Well, I really hope the part of the rendering for virtually staging homes really takes off. Our market, I guess, isn't really set. I mean, houses right now are just selling with practically out without people even seeing them and bidding higher. So I'm actually looking forward to the market changing a little bit so that it goes back to more of a norm, and then virtual staging will be, really important to have in those listings. So that, and I just really love to learn, so I'm just continuing to learn new things and new ways of I listen to a lot of not HGTV but YouTube videos with a whole bunch of little, different designers and different builders, and I learn a lot just listening to them, watching them. I don't think I'm ever going to stop learning, so I always look forward to what's next with a new, not necessarily design, but details, like
Trends.
trends and details within, there's so much technology that's changing. So, when I was first out of college, the tile installers would only put the small 1 by 1 inch tiles on the bottom of the floor of the shower. And now we're doing large format and zero curb and heated floor in the shower. I mean, like, all that's fairly exciting to me.
Right.
I love it. I love it. So do you ever aspire to have one of those great reality TV shows?
People have told me that a lot, but I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that you're looking to work with real estate agents to do the renderings of the staging. Who
Yes.
else in the community are you looking to partner with or would like to meet or work with?
Yeah, I think just just homeowners who actually want to redesign an entire house. That was so much fun, that project. I just want more.
Right.
And that transformation was amazing. And so it's probably a kind of like shooting in the dark, but anybody who buys a home that doesn't need to move in right away, because that really saves a lot of time and saves a lot of headache for the not only the for both sides, for me as a project manager as well as the homeowner not having to live through that. And it increased our hours of work too, so we can get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and stay
Mhm.
as late as we wanted to and get work done. And so if there was a client who was thinking about that, and the other thing is I would love to sort of be a collaborator with a either a builder or someone who's flipping a house. Just I just want to work with people and do some fun projects.
Very nice. Very nice. What a special privilege it was to hear about your story and to have you on our show and just to know that you're very versatile, right? There's so many different things that you can offer and that you can do to help people to really enjoy the places that they live and utilize their spaces. Is there anything that we haven't asked you about that you would like to share with our listeners? Like how they can
No.
find you, maybe?
Oh, I have a website. It's interiorsbysonia.com. Um, Anyone can text me at 517-202-7994. Or yeah, just go to the website and then you can even email me from that location. But no, I think you've asked everything.
Great.
Yeah, I think that anybody who is even curious about having help designing their home is worth a call to Sonia. She's got so many amazing ideas and different things. I know she said she watches a lot of YouTube and different things. I don't know how she keeps up with all the design trends and things like that. It's really amazing. One of the things that she helped me do in my office, which I had never thought about in my life, was she just like rearranged my bookcase and rearranged all the books by color, which I never thought about doing it by color. I always kind of did it by size because I thought, oh, they fit in here,
Mhm.
right? But once she arranged them all by color, it was like, oh, that looks so much better. And I know you can't like see it right now, but it sometimes shows up in the back of my Zoom calls and things like that. And it just looks amazing. And my brain colors are teal. So she took all the teal books and put them all together and made them pop out or whatever. And just, I never would have thought to do that myself. So that was pretty cool, Sonia.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But even just little things like that
Yeah.
us people who don't have an eye for that or don't think about a functionality or the aesthetics of things,
Mhm.
just sometimes little things. And you're really good at that. You gave me a lot of ideas for functionality in my house too. Now, if I could get all the other people in my house on board to,
Yeah.
do that, that would be great. But I know that's not your job. That's mine.
I
Yeah. But
love it.
yeah. But thank you so much for being on our show. This has been
Oh,
great.
thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And to the listeners out there, if you are a real estate agent or somebody who works with agents and would like to check out more of Sonia's staging and rendering things, please get a hold of her. I know that she works with a lot of builders and other people that are contractors and things like that, that all the different people that work on designing a house and building a house, Sonia likes to work with them as well. So please reach out, have another great interior designer in your pocket. So that's great. So, and again, her website is interiorsbysonia.com, and Sonia is Sonia. And of course, we'll have the links to all of her contact information in the show notes.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being on our show. And to all our listeners, thanks for coming on another adventure with us. We appreciate you being here. We release new episodes every Wednesday. You can find us at zediamedia.com or wherever you listen to your podcast. And don't forget about our YouTube channel, Adventures in Business. It's a little lonely over there. We do put these videos up, but we don't have as many followers on YouTube as we do on our podcast, but that's okay. So check out our YouTube channel as well. And as always, go out and make it an adventure.
This is a Zedia Media production.